just buried this so deeply. Yeah, so it was just constantly feeling inferior to him. I realised I just couldn't live like that anymore, and that it wasn't normal. I just had to get away from him.
Sophie, whose name and voice have been changed to protect her identity, dated social media influencer Andrew Tate for several months. He first contacted her on Facebook.
He was very charming and he made himself seem very familiar. He made me feel very comfortable. And obviously, in hindsight, I know, yeah, that's his character. It's part of the manipulation. That's what he does.
After a few weeks, Andrew Tate persuaded Sophie, who had worked in the adult entertainment industry before, to travel to his home in Romania to meet him in person for the first time.
I was at a stage of my life where everything sort of felt a bit boring and a bit dull, and this idea of an adventure and then lifestyle, and this guy seemed so into me, and he's making me smile every day, and the idea just seemed attractive to me.
For the last 6 weeks, the former kickboxer from Luton and his brother Tristan have been detained in Romania as part of a human trafficking and rape investigation, something they both deny.
There's not much justice in Romania.
They are accused of luring women to their compound in Bucharest and coercing them to create online pornographic content on webcams.
A couple of times he'd said to me, "Oh, you should do it, you'd make a fortune, but you don't have to, you know, if you don't want to. You don't have to do it. You can do nothing, I make enough money." But he was always reminding me that the option was there, and that kind of progressed into, well, if you love me, you would do it. If you care about me, you would do it, because, you know, this is my business and we can build something together and make all this money and we can buy property and we can invest. And I think over time, just chipping away at me, eventually he led me to think, well, yeah, maybe he's right.
How would you describe Andrew Tate?
He's a very complex man. There are a lot of different sides to him. I think it's important to recognise that the character you see online is just not the real him. And he's a very good actor. He's very manipulative. He totally lacks any kind of empathy. He's a narcissist. He's like that 100%. And it's important to remember that when you look at these videos and read the things he writes and everything he does, it's calculated. The real Andrew is very quiet, very moody, very, very dark, heavy. He's not jovial and light-hearted and funny. If you were sat in a room with him, he'd be on his phone playing chess or on his phone making money somehow. That's all he cares about.
Would you say that you are a victim of human trafficking?
It's very difficult because I don't feel like a victim. I mean, all the choices I made were of my free will. He didn't, you know, bundle me up in a bag, throw me in the back of a lorry and drive me there. Ultimately, the choices I made were my own. But he knew what he was doing, and he's the most manipulative person on the planet, I'm sure of it. At what point does the emotional or psychological manipulation turn into being forced to do something?
The BBC put these allegations to Andrew Tate through his lawyers, but media representatives for the Tate brothers said that they would not comment on the claims.
I was so depressed and so unhappy. There was a moment of clarity, and I just thought, this isn't right. I shouldn't be treated like this, and I shouldn't feel like this. So yeah, I made the decision that had to be the end of it, and I had to get away from this person.
Georgia Cohn, BBC News.